All right. All right. Well, hello and welcome to today's episode of the Power of Your Mind podcast. You are listening to episode number 290. I'm Victoria Gallagher, Law of Attraction hypnotist and number one best-selling author of Practical Law of Attraction. Align yourself with the manifesting conditions and successfully attract your desires. I'm also the founder of HipTalk.com and HypnoCloud apps. And the soon to be released Believe app, get ready for that, which is going to give you access to over 1,000 hypnosis recordings right in the palm of your hand. So be sure to download that app from the app stores. And today I have a very special guest with me, John Diggs. John
Hello.
Diggs, hello. Let me just give you a little bit of a background on John. John is a certified love life coach and mind mapping mentor. Say that three times fast. Once a standout college football player and went to play in the NFL and CFL. His career dreams were shattered by constructive knee surgery, literally.
Mhm.
And forced to adapt, he found success in the mortgage industry, only to lose everything in the mortgage meltdown. And so it was during that extreme low that John emerged with a newfound mission and purpose based on the power of mind maps to help
Yes.
people love and live their best life. And so John is going to be sharing his insights today on how to engineer beautiful mind maps to love life more. This is amazing. So, thank you and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me. This is awesome. God,
Yeah,
yeah,
thank
that was a nice
you.
intro. That did kind of encompass a lot of I didn't know. Yeah, they got a lot of stuff, but as you was articulated right there in the introduction, I mean, mind mapping has literally changed my life in so many ways, and I'm excited to share all that I can with your audience and hopefully add value to help them live and love the best life possible.
Yeah, no, it's great. Always fascinated by mind maps. I started learning about mind maps. I don't incorporate it, and I probably should. But
Hmm.
I started learning about mind maps, I don't know, probably about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Back when I was doing a little research for, a personal development course that I was working on.
Yes.
And, it was just so fascinating. I'm always a little jealous of people who have
Mhm.
the ability to make these articulate mind maps. So maybe you could help us
I will. I
a little
definitely,
bit with that,
I would
because
love to.
yeah,
Yeah, I would love to. And I'm hopeful that after our time together today, that you will become a more of a mind mapper, or at least use it as a valuable tool, because I call it the most powerful thinking tool in the universe. I truly believe it's the fastest way to get information into and out of our brains. And it's been working wonders in my life and with my students and people that I coach around this. And we have so much synergy in that. And I would love to, yeah, share all that I know. But just to kind of get back to that story on just kind of how it kind of came into my life, as you kind of mentioned in the introduction, I had some really great highs in my life with, playing football and parlaying that into a very successful mortgage career for myself and was living a millionaire lifestyle. Then the mortgage meltdown happened 2007, which spent everything in a tailwind. I mean, I lost everything, family, business, career, lifestyle, identity. Everything was just shattered. And I was forced to move back to my mother's house. And all I took back with me, being really at the lowest of low in my life, was just some gym clothes, my bike, and what I call this big ass box that was full of motivational DVDs, CDs, cassette tapes, notebooks, and things that I've accumulated over the years. I've always been in kind of a personal development, peak performance kind of guy. So I knew I had to go back into that box to reset my life, to rebuild my life. And inside of that box was this book called Mind Mapping. And somebody given it to me, one of my colleagues in the mortgage industry, I guess, Never really looked at it, but for whatever reason, it just resonated with me at this time. So I started reading it and came up with the idea to mind map all of the contents that was in that big ass box.
Wow.
uh Tony Robbins, Les Brown, Brian Tracy, Wayne Dyer, Think and Grow Rich, Landmark Education. I mean, it was NLP stuff. It was a lot of stuff. And I spent 3 months actually mind mapping each one of those books, which first gave me the insight into the power of mind mapping. Because instead of underlining things in that box, it triggered what I call active learning, to where I was actually reading that book, thinking of keywords and phrases in that chapter or whatever to add to the map. So I was reading it different with a different
Yeah.
perspective versus just kind of going line by line. I was like, all right, what is really going on here? And what are the key words or key phrases or symbols or something that I can, note take on my map? So I started doing that, and by the way, this is the story that I tell in my TEDx talk. I just did a TEDx talk in January, and I kind of lead people through this little thing that this time in my life, I was at my mom's house and I had like 30, 40 big poster boards full of mind maps all over her living room. And it was amazing because I started not just to see the connections that of that whole book, looking now at the mind map of how to win friends and influence people and unleash unlimited power. I'm seeing the whole key components on a poster, but I started to seeing the connections of all of the different things that all of these thought leaders were communicating,
Yeah.
which
We got
got
to
me to
get the practical law of attraction onto your mind map.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm very big on that. I'm very big on that. And I do a lot of that work. And I have some stories around that. I'll just tell you in a quick second. But
Yeah.
what I was saying is that I started to realize that all of what they were basically communicating in their own unique way was the purpose of life ultimately is just to love every second we have of it.
Mm,
And they all have their different strategies on how to approach it, but that's really the ultimate goal of life is just to love and appreciate every second you have. Is for this nanosecond that we're here kind of deal on earth. So that's where I got the ideal of loving life from and being a love life coach to help people love their lives more. Because you love your life to a certain extent. Those who
mhm.
unfortunately take their lives may question, but if you're still living, you still love the experience of life. You just maybe need to reconnect to that emotion, to the experience of life. So that's what I help people do.
Yeah.
But then in that process, I realized in order to love life, I had to get really clear on who I am. Who am I? And I know I can choose how I want to live my life and love my life. Got clear with that. But then who am I and what's most important to me to clarify what loving life means to me? So that began the I am mind map that I now promote and teach people is who are you? Let's get clear on all of the key components of your life as it relates to health, wealth, success, and happiness. Let's drill down in all of these components so you can get clear on who you are. Because I've been finding that most people like me, I didn't know who I really was. You know what I mean? It was like the environment defined who I was. I was a football player, I was this, I was a mortgage guy, but deep down in my side of myself, I never took the time to get clear on who John Diggs is,
Yeah.
what's most important, core values, belief. And so I spent another 3 months doing that. And within that totally empowered me, just to incentivize, even though I was still broke as a joke, sleeping on my mom's couch, that my energy just totally shifted in that process by way of this 8 month mind mapping process that within that about 8 months, I went and landed a six-figure gig being a mortgage software developer. So it immediately changed my life, going from broke to now making 12, 13 grand a month. And ever since then, I've been using the mind mapping practice to grow one of the largest software development companies in the country for the last 14 years. And when COVID hit, I realized it was, and being quarantined and forced to stay in the house, that it was a good time for me to pivot and start writing books and start trying to share people what I've been experiencing with the power of mind mapping. And that's kind of pretty much been led me here to you, is that now I'm just so excited to let people know how you being a mental coach and helping your listeners clarify their mind and get connected in their mind, mind mapping has truly enabled me to take all of the things that's been swirling in here that causes stress and overwhelm and all of that kind of stuff. And now I can put it out in a visual context, in a visual form, to easily kind of see it from a 10,000-foot perspective view, which
Yeah.
helps me solve problems faster, make decisions quicker, deal with issues in my past, and goal set and all that, all those things. So,
Well, that is beautiful. I that really resonated with me, especially the where you talked about people need to it all comes down to people needing to love their life. And I think so many people put that love on hold. Like they have it, but they put
right,
it on hold because things aren't quite right yet.
right,
There's a project, there's a relationship, there's a business, there's money, there's health, there's just all these things that
mhm.
get in our way and block that love. So I think that you're definitely onto something there. And then I just love that you talked about the I am process of this, really helping people to get to know and get clarity on who they are, because I agree with you. I think so many
Huge.
people are stuck there.
It's huge, and I'm finding, and with just in my personal practice and working with others, that when life throws us curveballs, somebody dies, you get divorced, some major unexpected deal or challenge you're faced with,
Yeah.
not knowing who you are,
Your app doesn't
could
launch when you
cause.
think it's going to.
Yeah. But not really getting clear on who you are and what your life is about,
Yeah,
could really cause more damage than necessary, and maybe even have it last longer than necessary.
yeah.
Because anytime that myself or, any of my students or clients are going through problems, we go back to the I am mind map,
Mhm.
where who are you and where's that situation land on your mind map, and let's get clear on what you want versus what's happening, and let's work it. It's just such a way to reveal the action steps needed to either resolve that issue, make a better decision, or at least figure out, lessen the emotional impact of it. And, I've been working with a lot of student athletes about this now and going through problems. And I've been finding that by me working their problem out in a mind map form, the emotional issue of that problem is now not inside of them. It's more like a third party thing now. It's like a third person thing. So they're
Yeah.
not as intense with whatever they're dealing with. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
it's like they're looking at it over here now, which minimizes the stress, but also clears their mind in such a way. Now they're open more to solutions,
yeah.
you know,
Now,
kind of deal.
for our listeners who haven't really delved into this whole concept of mind mapping ever,
Mhm.
how would you explain to our listeners, at the most basic level, like
Basic level.
what is Mappineering? What is
Yeah. Great question. And well, Mappineering is different. Well, most people have ever heard of mind mapping, or they hear of mind mapping, and primarily it's been promoted and developed for, since Tony Buzan, British
Mhm.
educator out of England. He's the kind of coined the phrase and developed mind mapping for decades. Unfortunately,
Mhm.
he passed away in 2018.
Oh, I didn't know
But
that.
yeah, most people that think of mind mapping, they think of it in terms of project management, note taking, or brainstorming.
Mhm.
But I've been finding over the last 5, 6 years, I'm the only one kind of teaching and promoting mind mapping as a personal development tool, something to use for our daily activities, decision making, problem solving kind of stuff. So I wanted to kind of, I created Mappineering as just my unique style of mind mapping per
Yeah.
se. But
Mhm.
what that is for your listeners, when you're looking at mind mapping, you can just grab a piece of paper, really. There's online softwares and those things now, but you just put, for instance, if it's a problem that you're trying to deal with, just put a keyword or a phrase to represent that problem in the middle of a piece of paper. You
Okay.
want to draw a circle around it.
Mhm.
Then what I do is I put who, where, what, when, why, and how, and draw circles around each one of those, and all connected to the center of the problem, right? So the problem, it radiates to who, what, when, where, why, and how. So now I just brainstorm, who's involved in this problem? Who should be involved in this problem? Then I just put keywords and phrases around all around who on the piece of paper. Who's involved, who shouldn't be involved, who could be involved, and all those kind of things. Then I'll move down to the section of the map where I put when, when did it occur? When should it occur? When shouldn't it have happened? Then I go to where, what, why and how. So as I brainstorm each one of those key components of that problem, now I can step back and look at the whole aspects of the problem in one snapshot form. So now I'm looking at it like, okay, these are all of the issues of what I'm trying to resolve, which amazingly, it reveals the steps to solve it a lot faster because now you see it, versus it being here. You can't really see every aspect. Now you actually see everything. So it makes sense. So, oh, that's what I need to do to fix it,
Yeah.
or that's what I need to do to resolve it. So it's really simple, but yet very powerful to take here and put it there for a better perspective, for whatever it is you're thinking about it. Again, a decision, you can do the same thing with the decision, keyword phrase of whatever decision you need to make, who, what, when, where, why, how, and just really brainstorm by asking yourself important thought-provoking questions about each one of those. After you spend however long needed and step back from that, you're going to see the decision you need to make, and it's going to reveal itself what you need to do just by you enabling yourself to see what it is you're considering from all of these different perspectives.
That's amazing. So is it always that you put the problem in the center and then you branch it off into all those different questions, the who, what, why, where, how,
Right.
and then you think of different, who's like, who do I not want to have involved, who is involved,
Wow.
who
Yep.
should be involved, all of that.
Right, right, right. And it doesn't have to be a decision or a problem.
Mm-hmm.
What's in the center of the mind map is just the general focus of whatever it is you're mind mapping about.
Right.
It can be
A goal
a
or,
book that you're going through, and instead of who, what, where, and where, how, these are just the chapters of the book. And this is what they're now
oh,
teaching in Ivy League schools, and finding a greater recall from their students, because they're finding that naturally, our brain works more in connections and associations and not
yeah.
in linear fashion. So what Tony Buzan found, and what I've been finding with working with my clients and students, is that when you do it in a mind map form, you can close your eyes and you can easily see where you placed it on the map a lot easier than that bullet point line of that note that you were taking.
Well,
So,
what just occurred to me about
mhm,
that is I started to get a picture of
mhm,
that in my mind. And I don't know, like it seems like that is the way, maybe it's closest to the way that our brain is actually structured,
it is.
you
That-
know,
that- that's
like
why it's
with
so
all the
powerful.
little pathways connecting to
Mhm,
different things.
mhm.
Maybe that's why it makes more sense to us.
Right, because all of our thoughts are connected to other thoughts. You know what I mean? All of our memories are connected to so many different things that we work in connections and associations to other things. So mind mapping allows you to see those connections and see those associations that you probably never saw before between whatever it is you're mind mapping. Like that, it told you. Like when I did all of that, I started to see associations and connections of books, that I've never even thought of before. But that's again why I call it the most powerful thinking tool in the universe, because, it really um, calls you, one of my latest books after my TEDx talk is called What's in Your Big Ass Box. And it was, yeah, it was an Amazon hot new release list, and it's been doing pretty well for me. But the whole premise of that book is how you can use mind mapping to not just think outside of the box, but live outside of the box,
Mm, mhm.
because mind mapping will allow you to see possibilities and opportunities that keeps you in that box. You know what I mean? I mean, when people say think outside the box, they're basically saying, let's think outside of your current belief systems. That's really what they're saying. Let's think about things outside of what you know to be true. And I have yet to find a better tool that enables us or empowers us to do that, like mind mapping.
I love it. So I'm always looking for ways, to take what my guests are,
Mhm.
talking about and connect it somehow with manifesting, with law of
Yeah,
attraction. And
that's good.
so, can you give us like an example of how we could use this as a tool to
Absolutely.
manifest?
Absolutely, and that when you mentioned that before, I just totally, was reminded of this story because I actually had a Facebook memory last week of a post that I posted, that was entitled "Power of Imagination."
Hmm.
And that was my first, understanding of the power of using our imagination to manifest reality, right? And the story was, after in 1988, we just won the Aloha Bowl at Washington State University. I'm a go Cougs. Uh, yeah, go Cougs. But there was a sports psychologist. I can't. I wish I can remember her name, but she was a short Southern girl, had this real strong Southern twang. Me being from LA, it was kind of weird. But she was talking about, she was a sports psychologist, and if anybody wanted to talk to her, come to her office. And for what I know, I was the only one that went to her. Yeah,
Hmm.
but she asked me the most amazing thing I've never been asked ever in my life. She said, John, what is the most amazing play you can make as a football player?
Ooh.
And I was like, as long as these years I've been playing, I've never thought about it. Nobody's ever asked me. She told me to write it out. So I wrote it out. And she, after I did it for a week or so, she said, no, it's not descriptive enough. Use more adjectives, more adverbs, take your time with it, really get detailed as far as this play.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, spent some more time, took it back. She said, perfect. Now I want you to lay down, take a deep breath, fully relax yourself, empty your mind, and I'm going to read and record what you wrote. I did
Oh.
it. And after she did it, I had a cassette tape again. This is
Yeah.
88, right? I had the Walkman.
Yep.
Had a Walkman 88. And she said, just listen to it every night and let's just see what happens. And Vicky and your audience, God is my witness. That play happened.
Oh
That
my goodness.
My senior year, that play happened, and it's on video, and I posted it on Facebook to let people know that story. That was my first power of law of attraction,
Yes.
imagination, and realizing that I can go here to live the life that I want. Now, what I've been using that story with student athletes is um, getting them to get clear and map out their perfect play, their perfect game, their perfect season. But then I will take them in that same meditation kind of state, walk them through it. And I'm realizing that by them creating the mind map first, that when they're in their meditation visualization practice, it's easier for them to see and connect to their visualization process and detail because it is in that map form that they've articulated into the detail so that they can visualize that map and really connect to the visual experience that they are trying to future pace or attract. Does that help a little bit?
Oh, it helps so much. I mean, my mind is like I'm mind blown
Right,
because
right.
no, I really, you're speaking my language because this is
Mhm.
such a useful way for people to be able to tap into their imagination. You reminded me that that personal growth course that I put together many, many years ago, it was the reason why I looked up and got in touch with mind mapping. It was on the module that dealt with imagination. So
Yeah.
it really just makes so much sense, and it helps you to visualize. I think
Hmm.
that's another, area that people struggle with is the
Hmm.
ability to visualize. And I think
Yeah.
mind mapping is a really unique approach to helping somebody to to step into their mind and see everything from a
Right.
different perspective. I'm getting ideas here for you actually right on the spot that like I wonder if you actually have considered certifying people in your process of helping people with this.
Not just yet,
Yeah.
not just yet.
Yeah.
I've been spending most of 23 building an online community called
Yeah.
Mappineering.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
been
getting
going
ahead
very
of
well.
probably getting
Yeah,
ahead of it,
yeah,
but
doing those things, but it's a great idea. And like we kind of mentioned, offline, that I'm here to support you and your audience. Just I feel, and one of the things that I learned and I staunchly believe in is the more I help others love life, the more I will love life. I feel that that's just one of the laws of the universe. The
oh
more you
yeah.
love life, life always, yes, always finds ways to love you back.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
similar to the phrase Zig Ziglar said, like, you can have everything you want, just
you help
help
enough.
everybody else, get what they want. So
Yeah, so I mean, it's very, very powerful, and I'm sure there's some ideas that we're going to come up with each other. Where I'm down to support you and help your audience. Because again, it's such a powerful thing. One of the things one of my mentors that I think your audience will find useful told me some time ago is that said, John, our brains are meant for processing, not data storage.
mm-hmm.
And our brains being very much like computers and computers very much like our brains, if we have too much storage on our hard drive, our computers run slow. They don't process information faster. May need more RAM, more memory or something.
Mm,
And he was letting me know that our brains work very much the same way. We have so many things in our head that we're storing that aren't necessarily useful for us today, but it's still on our hard drive,
yeah.
that we haven't properly kind of put it to an external drive or put it up in the cloud to our computer to process efficiently. So I try to let people know that I have yet again have found a better tool to help take what's here and put it in the cloud, if you will, than mind mapping. Issues in your past that you haven't resolved. Again, you can put that issue in the middle, who, where, why, and why of that issue, and it'll give you some greater perspective where now you can release it and don't feel like you got to hold it in your mind for anything, which, my experience and it reports of mind mappers around the world is, mind mappers process at at a higher level than the average because of they're not storing so much data in their minds,
Yeah. Would
and
you say that this rewires the brain, you know?
if rewiring meaning helping you gain greater or different perspectives about what you're holding as true
Mhm,
or
mhm.
or what you believe in to be true, either in the past, present, or future. Mind mapping, I think, will empower you to get greater perspective. So in essence, I guess that is rewiring to a certain extent, because you will not think the same way. You will not think that linear process way. You'll start seeing things in connections. You'll start seeing things in different. So I mean, yeah, I haven't thought about that like that, Victoria, but I can see that being yeah, it is a rewiring process or tool that can help you rewire.
Yeah, because once you think of it in that way, it just makes it easier to keep thinking of it in that way. And so eventually, those connections to the old way of thinking, are gonna die
Mhm.
down, and the new way
Right.
of thinking, and it just seems like it gives you even more clarity
Absolutely.
and,
And it's retraining your mind. One of the things that I also share with audiences, and I think your audience will find it valuable, is that it does stimulate what is called whole brain thinking.
mhm,
For those people that, that subscribe to the left brain, right brain thinking, left brain being that linear cognitive, right brain being that creative, esoteric kind of side. By you mind mapping, it says it stimulates, and I believe it because it's proven to me, it stimulates whole brain thinking, because as you're using mind mapping, you're using a left brain thinking about what keywords or phrase to put on your map, but then you're also thinking about the right brain on where to put it on the map and what color should I use to have it stand out. Should I actually use a word, or should I use an image or a symbol to reflect that? So when you start really mind mapping, you are using all of the different capacities of your mind's potential to help you enhance your consideration of whatever your mind mapping is.
right. Oh, that's amazing. I love it. What
Yeah.
what would you say are some other applications that we could use mind mapping for? So besides, our problems and our goals, I mean, are there any other
Uh,
applications?
Well, short answer is
It
yes.
sounds like probably a stupid question.
No,
A
no,
silly question.
it's not a stupid question. It's a great question because the short answer is super yes, because as I mentioned before, mind mapping is the most powerful thinking tool in the universe, meaning that whatever a person needs to think about, you can mind map. Planning a wedding, planning a trip, you know, uh, goal setting, like I said, dealing with issues with your past. I mean, anything that you have to think about, what TV show to go watch, what vacation to go to. I mean, literally, you can put the TV show name on there. I want to watch a series, and each one of these are the different series of your options. You can brainstorm the reasons why you should or shouldn't watch each one. Then by the time you go through all of that, you get clear on what show you should watch. I mean, literally anything and everything that you can think about. My mission is to encourage people to use mind mapping as a tool, and I think you're going to find great results and
Yeah.
empowered, you know, to know that wherever you land on, whatever you're
Hmm.
thinking, that you have the confidence and assurance that it is the best possible decision or way to move forward because you've
Yeah.
seen it now
Yeah.
versus you see all of the different aspects of it, and so it's like I know what to do. It's clear.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of it like in terms of, I mean, you could mind map your business,
Mhm.
and then from there, all the different aspects of your business. You could mind map the marketing, you can mind map your strategy, you can mind map.
Yeah. It- Amazing you just said that. I was just talking to my assistant just before I got on this call because I'm actually mind mapping my 2024. I call it my playbook.
Yeah, oh yeah. Mhm.
For each quarter, for all of the different my different revenue streams, my different projects, my different strategies. I have it all mind mapped. And can I share? I can show you real quick if you want to. Is it a sharing podcast? I didn't know, but I
Yeah,
could do it. But
let me give you sharing access here. I'm just gonna pause the recording real quick.
you ready? Perfect.
Okay. Okay. Let's
Got it,
see
got
it.
it. Yeah, so here's the what I've been working on. I've been working on every year since 14, 15 years to complete my previous year and to prepare for the future upcoming year. And these are just like a business plan, like an executive summary. I was just telling my assistant, I said, you know what, I might need to open it up to actually help people mind map their business goals. Because what I've learned over the years of developing executive summaries and portfolios and all of that stuff, most people do it in a linear fashion. So when it's done, it looks like this big book, but most people won't reference that in quarter two or quarter three or quarter four, which is the whole point of it, to see if you're on or off track, because they don't want to go back through a whole book.
Right.
What I've been using my mind mapping, which has helped me to develop, again, one of the top mortgage software development companies, is that I build them in a mind map so they're dynamic and I can easily look at my progress and where I'm at with my goals. But to here again is just I set it up to this is my
Oh.
corporation. Here's my purpose, mission, and vision to share the power of Mappineering to positively impact the world. My mission is to inspire, lead, and mentor masses to engineer beautiful mind maps to love life more. My vision, a loving global movement of Mappineers, powerfully transforming lives. Strategic advantages I put out. These are the executives of my corporation. Then now the various projects I'm working on, got social media, podcast guesting, professional speaking, my online community, public relations, celebrity connections, books, online courses, coaching, and my stuff. But each one of these can go, I go purpose, mission, and vision. Who's on that team?
Oh,
What's our
this is spectacular.
Yeah, what's our strategy?
Ah,
This is a podcast that I'm doing with my little sister. She's a celebrity, by the way. Yeah. So we got a podcast coming out next year as well. But I do this for each one of these projects. The books that I have 7 books out right now, all geared around mind mapping. My most recent one is Mappineer Your College Year. I'm very excited about introducing mind mapping to college students and student athletes. Um, Student athletes about the power of imagination we just spoke about for incoming college students. Definitely want to introduce them to the power of that I am mind map so they can get
Yeah.
really clear on who they are, to hopefully have more stronger boundaries to avoid all of that temptation and peer pressure that comes with being a college student, is my goal. So that's the my latest book, and I got other stuff coming out. But again, I drill down specifically to, what each one is, purpose, mission, and vision. I got the cover of the book here, got my Amazon link, to these books.
Oh, this is
Um,
so great. I love
yeah,
this. This is I think this is so helpful. So, let's get back to
yeah, yeah, for sure.
the I am um vision or I
Yeah, yeah.
the I am creating the I am mind map. That's your latest book. Is this
Right, right. That
okay?
that is my online courses. I have so many different courses around it. I have a
Yeah.
short um hour-long course, and I have a month course, and I have a 6-month course, depending on the depth that people want to go with their I am process, which I highly recommend everyone do to get clear on who you are and what's most important. But just essentially what that is, when I was going through developing it, I asked myself, what is most important to me in my life?
Yeah.
And health came top of the list,
Yeah.
health. Then I said, well, what else is most important to me? And I said, well, wealth. I definitely want wealth.
Yeah.
Then if once then I said, you know what? I definitely want to experience success in my life, and
Yeah.
I want happiness.
Yeah.
So I had that in the mind map. That
Mhm.
after months, it didn't come to me like this, like I'm telling you. It's like a lot of
Yeah. Yeah.
lot of long walks, a lot of long bike rides, a lot of long, just very intense, I call it mental grappling with this stuff. But that's where I landed, that the four key components of I am and who I need to focus on is being healthy, wealthy, successful, and happy. But then I just started extending out. So what does health mean to me? I mean, that's so
Mhm.
general and broad. So I
Mhm.
said, you know what? It's healthy spiritually,
Mhm.
mentally, and physically.
Mhm.
Then I went to wealth. I was like, well, what's most important about wealth? I said, is it money? And I was like, well, I've had a lot of money, but I wasn't happy. So
Mhm.
is there anything else I want a wealth of, an abundance of? Then I said positive emotions. I
Yeah.
definitely want a wealth of just great feelings, great emotions. All right, then what else? I said specialized knowledge. I figured
Mhm.
that if I can
Mhm.
have a bunch or wealth of anything, give me a bunch of positive emotion and give me a bunch of skills. I want to be an expert at something, because I realized if I had all that health plus a wealth of positive emotion and skills, I'm gonna make money.
Yeah,
Money's gonna
exactly.
come.
Yeah.
So that's where freedom is what I put on my mind map. Financial freedom
Mhm.
is what I put on there. Then I moved to success. What does success mean to me? What do I want to have success in? And I landed on, again, after months and years, well, more months, was I want to have successful relationships, results, and rewards.
Mhm.
Then I went to happiness. What does happiness mean to me? And I wrote a book on this one, Blessed and Grateful, is that for me to truly be happy, I have to feel or be blessed for my past. So when I think about my past, I think of it as blessings, not regret or guilt. But then I also have to feel grateful for my future, the things that are coming. But I need to have both of those feelings in the present moment right now.
Yeah.
So those three components was under happiness. And as time kind of evolved over the years, I've, you know, brainstorm and mind map there all out. I've added images to them, and again, it's in my TEDx talk where I got pictures on them. I got colors and things that stand out. Then what I do, that's the first level of the I am. Then after I walk people through that process to get clear on what these various components mean to them, then the second level is that they go through and prioritize all of the things that they put on their map, because I
Yeah.
don't want people to overanalyze. Just put it out there. If it comes to mind, just get it out there as it relates to your spiritual health. What comes to mind? Don't judge it, just put it out there.
Right.
So the second aspect is to really start to prioritize those and start to come up with action steps on what needs to be done to achieve those. in your life. That's the second level. Then the third level will resonate with you for sure, because that's where I do that power of imagination experience with them, where I take everything they put on their map, we write it out, we record it, lay it on top of a binaural beat. Um,
Ooh.
yeah, and I've instructed them to just listen to it every day, of yourself telling yourself who you are,
Mhm. Yeah.
or who you intend to be. And I've been getting amazing results because people are realizing that they're having greater boundaries, protecting their peace. They're
Mhm.
not stuck on issues longer than necessary. They're making decisions quicker. They're dealing with themselves. They have a greater self-awareness or self-actualization kind of energy that they're coming by clarifying who they are, and now starting to act, that way, and realizing that they have that power.
That's
Then so that's
beautiful. That's
the thing.
beautiful. Well,
That's
you
really
have you definitely have a lot of gifts, and this
thank
is
you. Thank
yeah, and I really really think that this is really special. And so
you.
I'd love to give our listeners an opportunity to connect with you and to,
Please.
continue the process
That'd be awesome.
for
That'd be
themselves.
awesome.
Yeah,
And that's what I mentioned to you before. I created that John Diggs JohnDiggs.com/, what was that? What
the
did I put there?
power of your mind.
The power of your mind. There it
Yeah,
is. John Diggs / the power of your mind. If any of your listeners wants to go there, there's just some easy steps that you can take to integrate your I am mind map. That is the first thing. If you're interested in mind mapping, I would say start there, getting clear on yourself and getting clear on what's most important to you. You're going to have the greatest impact there. Then start playing with other things with mind mapping, because it's going to really change your approach to goal setting and decision making, clarity on who you are. So I would suggest that people start there first for sure.
that's great. And that's a wonderful place to start. So our listeners, just to reiterate, they can go to johndiggs.com/ the power of your mind, and they can get more details about creating an I am mind map.
Absolutely. And I'm always here I'm here to help. I mean, thank God I'm in a position where, work is kind of optional. This is truly like my childhood dream and my passion. So I really just love this, and I want your listeners to know that I'm always available to help people live their best lives, and especially when it comes to mind mapping. Especially you, Victoria. I'm here for you. Thank you so much for this opportunity. This is
Yeah,
cool.
thank you so much for being on the Power of Your Mind podcast. It's been a great
My pleasure.
episode, and
My
thank you so
pleasure.
much.
Thank you again.